Branding done right. If you learn to write in this way so that you are offering real value with a unique selling point and angle, and with a dream and a vision, then you will stand out from the crowd and 99% of the other brands online. Why is that? Because 99% of brands online just don't care. I've worked with a whole lot of them, and so often I see the same thing time and again. A client comes along to order some work, and they show me their website. Their website doesn't have a brand. The name of their website is the keyword getgreatabs.com. They don't believe me when I tell them about the 1% LSI, the keyword density, and the organic-looking links. Rather, they just want that keyword repeated as often as possible. They ask for generic titles for their content: best diet for abs, top sit-up exercises, how to lose belly fat. They clearly don't know about the niche they're in. They don't care, and they don't have anything new to say. And as a result, they filled their site with tired, generic, and derivative content that is stuffed with keywords and all tied together in an uninspiring brand. Most of them don't even have a logo, and the ones that do either made it themselves in MS Paint or they paid the lowest amount possible to get something really cliche like a light bulb or a globe with an arrow moving around it. Then they tell people to follow them on Facebook, where they post repeatedly about, check out my new ebook here. They have nothing interesting or new to say. They've done their research, they know the keywords, and they know that this is a good niche to be in. But they don't understand the niche. They have no heart, and so they are destined for failure. Worst of all, they have no skill. Now, take a look at the sites you already read on a daily basis. Take a look at your favorite blogs and vlogs. What are they like? Chances are that they have a clear mission statement and brand. They aren't for everyone, but they have a legion of loyal fans. They have a cool logo, and that logo instantly communicates what their brand is all about and who should listen. They post content that is interesting and unique. They have a completely different take on the subject, and they write about the highly advanced aspects that most blogs simply don't know about or miss. They might write about cardio acceleration for 30% faster fat loss, or they might write about the role of dopamine in encouraging snacking behavior. In other words, these posts are interesting and unique, and they have personality. They're written by the brand owner themselves in a way that is passionate and interesting. It's storytelling. The site is beautiful and well put together. And there's video. And there's interactive elements. And the images are crisp and high definition. In short, it has high production values. And it looks like something that has had time, money, and love spent on it. If you want to succeed online, really succeed, then that's what you need to build. We've already seen how you can get more in line with this philosophy by writing better content. Now it's time to think about the rest. The site, the graphic design, the video, and more. And in doing so, you're also going to make yourself invaluable to employers and unstoppable as a brand of your own. Video. Everything that photos can bring to your channel, video can help to bring to your channel even more. Video is firstly highly impactful. When someone sees your video, they will be instantly enraptured and have the urge to watch through to the end. We are psychologically programmed to respond to people talking on screen and to listen, and we find it hard to look away. The fact that you can add music, use gesticulations and facial expressions, all of this really adds to your ability to persuade and convince. And this means you can use video to much more effectively sell a product or an idea. At the same time, though, video is also fantastic for elevating the status of your brand even more. Simply put, creating videos requires skill, and this is something that not everyone has any idea how to accomplish. You'll probably need a fairly decent camera, and you'll need good software like Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere, and the knowledge of how to use it. So, if you land on a website and the first thing you see is a glossy video with fantastic production quality, a great voiceover, brilliant camera work, what do you think? You think that it must be made by a business that knows how to make fantastic products and that really cares to invest time, money, and effort into what it does. And for these reasons, you are much more likely to trust or to buy. Finally, video lets you take part in YouTube and vlogging, and that opens up huge doors. A ton of brands that have been long unsuccessful through other attempts at marketing find that they are eventually successful when they start promoting themselves on YouTube. Not only because of all the advantages in terms of engagement and persuasion, but also because of the advantages in terms of reach and competition. Did you know that YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world behind Google? So how do you make great video? Filming. For filming, there are a few things to consider and learn. Firstly, all of the tips regarding lighting and composition that we covered in the last post are still very true here. Another tip is to learn to use a panning head. This is a device that you attach to your tripod and camera, and that will then allow you to slowly pan across different elements. This is ideal for showcasing products, but do be wary of using the same shot over and over again. If that is a risk you are running into, then try using pans that go up and down, or try zooming into the shot gradually. In order to help with lighting, it can be a good idea to purchase a softbox or similar option for creating light artificially. Having more than one light source is also preferable, so if you can purchase two, then that's even better. In a moment, we will talk about editing, and you'll see that you need specific shots for this to work properly. A big tip then is to give yourself some kind of storyboard, or otherwise just have a strong idea of what you want your video to look like before you begin to know what needs to be covered. Collect B-roll if appropriate. This is footage that you can play while you talk about other things. It should be relevant and it should fit for a range of different sections. This will not only help to keep your video dynamic and moving, but it will also be incredibly useful when you need to cover up mistakes. Don't forget the importance of sound. Don't rely on the mic built into your camera, or this will severely undermine the professionalism of the rest of the product. To get around this problem cheaply, just buy yourself a cheap lapel mic and plug it into your smartphone. You can then set that to record and tuck it away in your pocket while you deliver the audio. Finally, set up the grid on your camera if possible, and try to make sure that when you talk on camera, your head and your eyes are in the top third of the screen. Editing. Here is where the real magic happens. The first job in editing is to make sure that everything runs together smoothly, and that you've taken all your footage and removed the stutters and starts. It should all run smoothly. If you want to hide your mistakes and make your content flow like one long video, then you can use B-roll over the portions you've had to cut. Otherwise, you will jump from one position to another quickly. This can also be done to dramatic effect though, and is called a jump cut. You can use this for humor or for intentional brevity and punchiness. Put more in, and that way it will look intentional, and you can get away with more. Otherwise, you can also try setting up more than one angle on the same shot, and cutting between these as you talk to hide cuts and edits. But when cutting between shots of any nature, remember again the storytelling aspect. Your aim is to avoid jarring the user by jumping randomly from one shot to another. When cutting within the same scene, a technique often used is to cut on action. That means you cut during a movement, and you continue the same movement in the next shot. This disguises the edit and makes the footage flow more easily. You can likewise try to link shots based on the subject matter, or you can link shots based on where the user is looking. Use these strategies and look into others, like L cuts, to take your video game up a level. Then make sure to add a little background music. You can outsource this on a site like Fiverr, and add your logo. Add some bottom thirds and a good opener, and you'll have something that looks immensely professional, and can really build trust and authority. A quick tip for those that are trying to build momentum on their own YouTube channel is to not make your videos too long. This whole process can take a lot of time, and if you want to make consistent uploads, then you shouldn't make your workload any bigger than it has to be. How to do it. Internet marketing. Okay, so now you know why internet marketing is a big deal, and how it can help you to make money, find a job, or live your dreams. So now it's time you learn the fundamentals of how to actually get involved. And to that end, the first thing you should probably learn is SEO. Search Engine Optimization. SEO is Search Engine Optimization. This means optimizing a website, an article, or both for the search engines. The fact of the matter is that Google pretty much runs the web. If someone wants to find information, if someone wants entertainment, if someone wants anything on the web, they will probably start by checking Google. Then they do a search for that thing they want. Let's say they want to buy a hat. They'll probably search for buy hats online. If you are at the top of those results, then you'll make lots of sales. If you aren't, then you probably won't. Thus, what Google says goes. Thus, Google is king. And thus, the world needs SEO. This is how you go about building content and designing a page in such a way that it will be guaranteed to show up at the top of a specific search. And this means by identifying the keyword or phrase that you want, This is the phrase that you think people will search when they're looking for content or information like yours. Once you've identified that, you can then begin to use that key phrase in your content. The way Google works is by using programs called bots or spiders. These trawl the web and automatically index pages in a massive database for Google. Then, when someone searches for something, Google checks the database and looks for the most relevant content. It used to be that the easiest way to come across as relevant for Google's sake was to simply lace your content with as many repetitions of the key phrase as possible. Now, this way, Google spiders could see that the content you wrote and the thing the person searched were related. And this way, you would show up at the top of the searches. Now, once upon a time, this was all it took. Now, once upon a time, this was incredibly easy. And the more times you repeated the phrase, the better your chances of appearing at the top would be. The only problem was that this made the web incredibly easy to manipulate, and it led to people abusing the system and putting out low-quality content. This led to websites writing things like, "Welcome to the Best Buy Hats online shop, where you can buy hats online. Buy hats online for your mom. Buy hats online for your dad." Google stamped out this kind of behavior by using algorithm updates that would penalize abuses of the system and that would favor good quality content. Now, Google recommends that you only include keywords using a 1 to 2% density. That means that for every 100 words, only one of them should be a keyword. Likewise, Google also wants to see you using LSI, latent semantic indexing. That means that you should write posting content with synonyms, related language, and natural language around the subject. Google also likes to see longer content, 800 to 1800 words. It likes to see new and relevant content, and it likes to see websites that are being updated and well-maintained. Google also now looks at bounce rates, meaning that it can tell how long someone has been on a web page and if they tend to leave after the first couple of seconds. Then that website isn't going to perform well in searches. Using all these newer methods, Google can now favor content that is genuinely high quality and that answers the user's questions. In Google's case, the customer is the user, and that's who Google wants to please. So while you should write with SEO in mind, you should also make sure that your content is great quality for the user. More on this in a moment. Other things you can do for your SEO including adding keywords in key places, such as the opening paragraph and the title, such as the file names, the names of your images, for example, and the meta descriptions and other tags. The other big cornerstone of good SEO is getting links on other websites. Google views links on other sites as being referrals. And so if you can get a link from a top website, that will do an awful lot to build trust and authority in Google's eyes. Got a link from the BBC? Then anything you post subsequently will much more easily get to the top of Google. That said, smaller links elsewhere are also useful. And note that links are how the spiders find your content in the first place. Google again doesn't want you to manipulate the search engines or to try and trick them, and so it wants to see a link's profile that's natural and organic, as though everyone at once just decided to share your content because it was so brilliant and you had nothing to do with it. This means you should have a varied range of links in terms of the quality and even the wording. Using links that are on relevant sites is a good idea for reaching the right SERPs, industry lingo for search engine result pages, and for reaching the right audience, however. Avoid trying to pay for links because this can get your site badly penalized or even de-indexed by Google. All of this is going to help your site to get seen, and if you post regularly and keep looking for popular topics, then you should gradually begin to grow an audience. In theory, more marketing strategies, SMO, and more. While this is a decent strategy, though, it is also very slow and certainly not guaranteed. It is not therefore recommended that most businesses and brands rely solely on searches for their traffic. Instead, it is also a good idea to be more proactive in your promotional activities by getting out there and reaching out to your audience. For instance, you can do this with PPC. This is pay-per-click advertising, which is a form of paid marketing where you only get charged when someone clicks on the ad. We won't be going into great depth on that here, but suffice to say that this is worth looking into and a skill that you should add to your bow. More fundamental is SMO, or social media optimization. In other words, You need to get out there onto Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, along with the others like Google Plus and Pinterest. And you need to start marketing yourself. That means you need to post regular content and build a following. Invite people to follow you and ask them to share and like your posts so that their networks see them too. You can also seek out forums, social media communities, subreddits, and more places where people might appreciate your content and where your target audience is likely to be spending its time. There are many more tricks you can use to get the word out about a brand or website too. One of the most powerful and effective is something called influencer marketing. This means that you look for someone on the web who is an influencer, someone who has a large following already, and who can help you reach that large audience. You then message them and find some kind of trade that you can do. For example, you can let them post something to your audience in exchange for posting to their audience. That way, you will both gain some of each other's subscribers. There's much more to internet marketing. Building a mailing list of your top fans is a very good idea, for instance, as is guest posting and writing blog posts for other sites. At the end of the day, it comes down to strategy. You want to gain the attention of real followers, and at the same time, you want to encourage Google to pick up your content and add it to its index.